Eric, first of all, who's been a huge trailblazer. And every single one of you who's out there who cares about conservative issues, who's got a conservative blog, I want you to know that you are hugely influential, that you are read across Washington and across the country, and you make a huge difference. So I do want to say thank you very much for everything you're doing. And I want to bring greetings to you from the whole Cheney family. When I told my dad I was coming today, I asked him for some advice. And he said to me in a very nice, kind, fatherly way, "Liz, this is a really important group, so don't screw it up." Now, I have to tell you, in my family, my mother probably has read most of your blogs and does on a pretty regular basis. And I can't confirm or deny it, but I think she may well have posted a time or two herself. Now, my father is not quite so advanced technologically, and we do cut him a bit of slack because you have to remember that for 8 years he was really focused on other things. He just got his first email account recently. He has a BlackBerry, and he's become quite proficient at using his BlackBerry. My sister Mary and I did have to tell him that it was not necessary to begin every email he sent to us with the words, "This is your father speaking." But he's over that now, and he's really getting the hang of things, and he does send you all his very best wishes. It has become somewhat fashionable today to talk about conservatives and conservatism as a movement in peril. And I wanted to come today to tell you something I know that you know, which is nothing could be further from the truth. Parties, at town halls, and we see it in the polls. And they've got a very clear message for the Obama administration, and that is that we do not like the path you put this country on. As we meet here today, 6 months into the Obama administration, we've actually learned many things about this president. We've learned that he will not govern from the center. We've learned that he doesn't believe in American exceptionalism. That's right. We've learned that he thinks there's some sort of moral equivalence between America and our enemies. We've learned that he wants to expand the federal government until it permeates every corner of the nation and every aspect of our lives. He's going to raise everybody's taxes. He thinks bureaucrats ought to choose our doctors, prescribe our medical care, and ration it if necessary. And at his last press conference, we also learned that he doesn't have much faith in policemen or pediatricians. This is not change we can believe in, and I don't believe it's the change the American people voted for. As your congressmen and senators come home this month, I really hope, and I know you will, take the opportunity to talk to them and to register your concerns about a whole range of issues facing the nation. Tell them how you really feel about cap and trade. Tell them how you really feel about the Democrats' health care reform. And I hope that you'll also talk to them about your concerns about the steps this administration is taking to dismantle policies that have kept us safe since 9/11. As we meet here today, we remain a nation at war, and we need intelligence to win this war. President Obama's actions in the time that he's occupied the Oval Office have diminished our ability to gather that intelligence. 2 months ago, President Obama decided, over the objection of his CIA director and 4 former CIA directors, to release legal memos that lay out for the terrorists the techniques that we used to gain intelligence. This was intelligence that saved lives and prevented terrorist attacks. Next, he suggested that he was open to the prosecution of Bush administration officials who participated in these programs. Finally, he refused to release any information about the effectiveness of these programs. And when his own Director of National Intelligence wrote a memo to the people, the men and women who work in our intelligence communities, in which he talked about the effectiveness of the programs, the White House actually redacted that information before they released the memo publicly. Today, still, several months later, the President won't let us, the American people, judge for ourselves whether the enhanced interrogation program worked. According to press reports just yesterday, the Senate Intelligence Committee has issued a budget report that notes that the administration not only won't release the documents former Vice President Cheney asked for, but it redacted, blacked out from the documents it did release any reference to the effectiveness of the program. I think that we all have to ask why they're doing this. Why won't this administration let the American people see for themselves? And I think it's because they know the American people believe that enhanced interrogation is justified in some limited circumstances if it saves American lives. And if the American people get to see this information, if they get to see evidence that this program worked, then they'll want to know how it was that our president could so cavalierly release this information to the public and to the enemy. Now, President Obama says that he didn't harm national security by releasing these memos. He says that's because he would never use these techniques. Well, he needs to be asked a question. Mr. President, if you're facing a ticking time bomb scenario where American lives are at risk, and you could gain information that would prevent an attack and save those lives, really you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't use enhanced interrogation techniques to get the information necessary to prevent an attack. The American people deserve an answer to that question. And the brave men and women at the CIA who carried out these programs deserve our gratitude and our thanks. They don't deserve to be the targets. By the current CIA Director, in which he makes the point that this continuing threat of investigation and prosecution is harming our ability to gather the intelligence we need to win the war. I'm going to quote the words that he will use in this op-ed. He says that these kinds of activities, quote, threaten to distract the CIA from its crucial core missions of intelligence collection, analysis, and covert action. Now, I believe the American people deserve better than that. The American people also deserve to know what President Obama plans to do with the terrorists who are currently at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. 2 days after taking office without any plan, the President announced that he was going to close Guantanamo. Now, initially he suggested a number of those terrorists would be coming to the United States, and at one point that some of them might even be released here in the United States. He's now saying we're actually going to put those folks, the worst of the worst, in our supermax prisons, and that our supermax facilities can actually hold and contain them. But I would draw to your attention an example of why this is a problem. And it's an example that you could read about in a terrific op-ed in yesterday's Wall Street Journal by Deborah Burlingame, whose brother Chip was the pilot on the airline that crashed into the Pentagon on 9/11. Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, is currently at our supermax prison in Colorado. And he's been there since 2002. Now, in 2007, he decided to sue the U.S. government. And his claim is that the special administrative measures that apply to him, that limit his communication, that limit his contact because he's a terrorist, are violating his First Amendment rights. Now, in response to this lawsuit, think for a minute, what do you imagine the Obama administration has done in response? Well, in response, they said, okay, we'll drop those special administrative measures. Now,